Okay, guys, a little more here. I know it's been a while since you guys have seen me, but we've been busy here in Florida and we're doing things. And for most of y'all are wondering, yes, this is the blanket. I'm just sitting here on the bed chilling while the other guys are in the room. They are doing their thing. I just wanted to just get on here and just talk to you for a little bit. Maybe I know it's kind of early, and I know most of you guys are probably are asleep or getting ready to go drinking or whatever it is you're going to do today. I know Bill right now is still asleep and it is 11 o'clock. No, he did not drink last night. Actually, he has not had a drink until, when was it, yesterday? We were at the pool. I gave him some type of girly drink, which is fine. But we just stayed up last night watching movies and all that and having a good time, masterminding. So what I wanted to do is just get on here today just to see if there's anyone in the room who's wanting to come on, possibly, and see how their week was going. A lot of great things happened here at the Mayhem. A lot of great things, and it has been fun. And we've connected with a lot of people, and it's just like, whoa. You get to be around lots of master experts in what they do, and a lot of copywriters, a lot of video guys, a lot of excuse me, Facebook marketers, the T-shirts, Teesprings, all the good things that can make you money online, and it's good to be around these guys. You know, we had a lot of different people who were actually, you know, learning. That was new. That wasn't a. It was good to meet Randy out of the group. Randy was there. I'm sure him and his wife enjoyed it. It was great to see those two actually become something nice. I mean, it was just amazing, you know. And so, you know, one of these, if you ever get a chance to go to an event, I just want you to realize that if you've been struggling with your business, it is so important to try to take yourself to the next level. I remember going to that event last year. I was at that point where I had to do something, you know, and I had to step out and actually do something to get myself, you know, to that certain position. And you know, and I explain this to guys all day long. You have to make yourself move to the next level. I mean, I know we sit there and we always dream about going, you know, going on a shopping spree, or we always think about having, you know, millions of dollars in our bank account and things like that. But you know what? That's great that you actually get to that point where you're thinking about it. But the most important part that you are missing is stepping out and actually taking action on that part. And, you know, that is the most ingredient that you need. I've heard a lot of speakers this week talk on what they've been doing, what they've, you know, they've kind of learned. But one thing for sure, I know that most of them took action. And the only way that you're going to get to that next level is to take action. So, you know, I just think one of the best ways to get yourself going is to get yourself surrounded with people that you know, people that can guide you. So what I'm going to do right now, since they don't know, is I'm going to bring a few people on that's here. They're going to be like, really, dude? So bear with me, okay? So give me a few seconds here. Lucky for you guys. Come on with it, man. Looking for you guys. We're going to bring on David. This is great. He doesn't know he's on the spot, so we're going to put him on the spot right now. This is going to be like a kick webinar. Come on, open up the door. This is going to be awesome. So let's just be ready for this to see what he has in store. Come in. Come on, yeah, you come on, get over here. Yeah. Get your lay down feeling. There it is. Here we go.
All right, so what's up?
Guys, this is Tim right here. These are one of the guys that we've been talking about that's been in our circle. Most of y'all have no idea who Tim is. And a lot of my success is because of Tim.
Thank you.
I bother Tim just like I used to bother David and all the other guys, but I bother him just as much. I want you to kind of give a little of your background and tell everyone what you do, because I call him the fixer. Everything I need, he fixes things for me. I can pop up an idea and go, Tim, how can I make money with that? And he's like, boom, do this. Let us know, how did you get started with all this? I mean, how do you know how to do this stuff?
Sure. Hello, everybody. Timothy Craggette. So basically, my background is it's technical. The easy way to go about explaining it is people would come up with problems, and it was my job to come up with solutions. So in this whole space of doing things online, the whole thing is like I guess I would call myself an architect at that point. So I get ideas and try to figure out ways that they could possibly be developed or created or implemented or instituted, and we figure out the pieces of what it takes to get something built, and then we put it together into a plan, and we get it to execute. I guess that's the easy way of saying it.
Awesome, awesome. And for a while back, Tim used to consult with businesses, and this is something that most of you guys, I know y'all probably see half my screen, but y'all see me all the time, but most of you guys are trying to go in and use video marketing as a tool, but you don't realize there's also ways that you can start consulting with these business owners and make the same amount of money and less the stress. Tell us a little bit about consulting with businesses.
Sure.
And why it's important.
Oh, absolutely. So the whole thing with consultation is it gets a very high-level personal aspect of relationship building and work relationships. For me, in my business, Busy Boy Media, we tend to do a lot of audience building type of consultation. So we work with experts. The whole thing of doing consultation is you're giving more than just a product or a service. You're actually giving an experience, and that's where a lot of people kind of get it confused and mixed up. They're thinking that, okay, just because there's a deliverable that the end job is done, but the reality is when you're actually able to work with the decision makers, then you're able to actually not just service on a high level, but you're actually able to get refer business and things of that nature on the back end.
Let me stop you right there.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
You said a key word there, to work with the decision maker.
Yeah.
A lot of times there are guys in this group and they're new, and they don't realize how important that is. They're probably perceived to try to go talk to someone that is not the decision maker,
no.
And that becomes an issue. So would you say 100% that this is true? You must get a hold of the decision maker regardless of what you do.
Absolutely.
Right.
Without a doubt. The whole thing of working with people, okay, we all call them gatekeepers.
Right.
It's kind of a derogatory term at this point. But the whole thing of working with the people that aren't actually writing the checks, it makes it a lot difficult for a decision to be made. And since there's confusion at that point, you kind of get stuck. And what I tell like a lot of my students and partners and all of that is find the person that's actually writing the checks. 9 chances out of 10, they will be able to speak intelligently about what they can and can't do. And like for instance with us, we love to use video, and actually that's one of the things that these guys do that's really great. We love to use video in our emails, and we send those things out, and they go directly to decision makers. We don't waste any time.
And before we go any further, what is your website address?
Busy Boy Media. So busy, B-U-S-Y, boy, B-O-Y, media, media.com.
And another thing that you guys do not know about Tim, he is a very creative video editor and all that, and all A to Z above. If you want videos done professionally, and you're just like a talking head like I am, or if you have cameras set up to where you're in the background with a green screen, all that, this guy can edit this stuff. You just send him your information, and you can have a wonderful, wonderful video. Like he's done work with Daredevil Group.
Yeah.
Who else?
Uh,
Loads. Yeah.
Dylan Kingsbury, Kim MacArthur, Lo Silva, Stephen Memel. What's the dude's name for 123 employee? Davin Michaels.
Oh yeah. That's right.
A lot of people.
A lot of people. And see, I hang around people who are underground. I mean, y'all probably don't know this guy. You probably never seen him, but now you're seeing this guy has been in the ropes with the big timers, you know.
Yeah.
And he's actually a big timer himself. And when you see guys that are on stage or whatever, they've done a great video series or they created a product, there has to be people in the background that is actually boosting them up. Mm-hmm. And that is also what he's doing. He has done, you know. All right, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I just wanted to make sure we got that in there because there might be some guys in this group who wants to take it to the next level and wants to put up some money. Now, he's not cheap, and we don't buy cheap stuff. Cheap stuff will get you nowhere. So understand. There, there might be some of y'all who has like $3 or $4 grand that you want to use on Tim, and he might look at it and say, "Hey, this is great." But I just want to just put that out there to you because it takes money to really help your image. If you're not just, $200 or $300, don't even talk to us. I'm just, you know what I mean? I'm just saying. But going back to what you're talking about, consulting is really serious, guys. I mean, I've gotten to the point where I have clients who actually say, "Lim, what about this? What about that?"
Right.
When a client asks you to do that, you automatically know you're in a great position, right?
True. I come from a little bit of a different perspective, though, for that. And it's only because my business is set up in creatives. Creatives being anything that deals with creative work, video, audio, graphics, yada, yada, yada. There's such a thing called work creep, where you have specified work. And for all of you that's thinking about consulting, this is actually something that's really cool. Whenever you detail your work, whether it's in your contracts or even if it's a verbal agreement, specify everything to the letter, to the T. Because the moment that you start implementing the work, as soon as you start doing the work and you start getting the client to be satisfied with things that you're doing, they're going to ask you, "Oh, well, could you do this extra thing? Could you tweak this little thing here and there?" And that's work creep. The smartest advice I ever received was from Robert Stooks, and he told me the moment that someone does that, you put a $ behind it.
Holla, you in this group, bro.
The moment that someone starts to creep, you put a $ behind it. One or two things is going to happen. The first one is they're going to either pay, or the second is they're going to stop. Either way, you're going to get paid. It's just a matter of, do you get paid more or you get paid what you agreed on? And that's like one of the biggest things that kind of set my tone as to how I do things, because as an artist, you have the typical nature of wanting to please. And in the business of doing things, especially when it deals with consulting, it's not about pleasing. It's about deliverables. It's all about deliverables, money and deliverables. You say that you're going to deliver a certain result. That's the only measuring mark that you ever need to worry about. You don't need to worry about how happy they are. You can't measure happiness, but you can measure dollars and you can measure numbers. So, that's probably like the biggest thing that I could think of when it comes to all this type of consulting thing. Because, here's another kind of good example. Some of the things I'm going to think about. The whole thing of building out relationships. Most of the things that we found with Busy Boy is that it's about over delivering, and it's also about value. Like I talk to this dude all the time. I'm like, value all the time. Like last night we were talking about one-upping. That's what I do. I always try to figure out, okay, if someone's going to spend $5 with me, someone's going to spend $500 with me, someone's going to spend $5,000 with me. Someone else can spend that same money somewhere else. What am I doing differently that's going to make them want to spend it with me rather than someone else? And that's value.
I'm going to stop you right there. A lot of times you're going in and you're sending those email sequences, or you're probably cold calling. What is different between you and that professional guy that's been trying to get them forever?
Right.
value. You have to one up them always.
Right.
And if I was a business owner, you're gonna call me, and I'm like, okay, what do you have that the dude the 3 days ago just called me? What's the difference between you two? And you have to come up with something that is so much more important than what he said, because the guy down the street might have a great gig, but then you come up with something else and say, hey, what about this? I'm like, oh, I'm still listening. So
True.
Value is so important. Go ahead. Let me
Yeah.
cut you off.
No worries. Kind of piggybacking on what Lem said, the whole thing I love about value stacking is most of the time it doesn't cost you anything extra to do. It's just a matter of just being creative. Like what Lem says with me, whenever we're just getting on the phone or we're getting on Skype or whatever, he'll come up with an idea about something, and I will one up that joint. I'll just keep doing it, because it's not just about the perception of value. It's actually the actual value. I like the whole thing you were talking about with the emails. I'm going to piggyback on that.
Right.
So you send out an email to a client, and you're like, okay, I offer X local service. Let's say if it's ranking. I offer ranking service. I'll get you on page 1. Well, how many times has that business owner heard, oh, I'm going to get you on page 1?
Lots of time.
So at that point, it's an opportunity rather than it being a point of being discouraged. It's like, okay, check this out. I can get you on page 1. I can get you on page 2. Matter of fact, let's go back to page 1. I will get all of page 1 for you, not just one spot. That's value added, but that's not a wow factor. So now we're going to one up that. So I'll get you all of page 1. Oh, let's see what else I can do. I can get you ranking in YouTube. Oh, what else can I do? I can get you ranking in Vimeo. Who's doing that? I'm trying to think. What else can you do
You
with
can rank
email?
Facebook pages too.
Facebook pages. You go in with something like that, no one can compete on value.
Nope.
And how much extra work is it to do those couple little things? If you can think of how you can increase your value with the least amount of extra work on your part, not only did you increase your profit margin, you also increased the value, and you make it hard for anyone else to compete with you. I think you would agree with me on this one, is that whenever you're approaching any of the people that you're doing for your prospecting and all that, you make it so irresistible that it makes it hard, if not difficult, if not stupid, for someone to walk away.
And that's the deal. I mean, you hit that on the number. They said that, like I said, also this weekend they've been saying it. You have to give an offer that is just so ridiculous. You have to walk away and say, hey, I got to take it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I try to do a lot when I am, explaining my services to our, potential clients, because I always ask them what has been presented to them.
Right.
I want to know what I'm walking into, because I don't know them from A to Z. I will find out what they've done, and I say this all the time, what they've been doing, who they hang around, what they like,
Mm-hmm.
But I still have to get on the inside and figure out what's been going on. Obviously, I know you want more. I'm here to bring you value.
Right.
I want to see if I can help you guys bring more.
Right.
Once I figure that out, then, it's just like what you said.
Right, and on the back end of that too, this kind of goes back with the whole thing of piggybacking on consultation. A lot of the times, when you start talking about something and you hit a pain point for that person that you're working with, they will tell you what they need to be sold. It's just that simple. And the cool thing about it is, if you know everything that you can offer, even if it's something that you can't do, then you have a deal. Because at that point, you can say, okay, well, he needs video ranking, I can do ranking. But, dag, he also needs graphics work done. Well, that's not my strong suit. You still offer it. Because then at that point, you can say, hey, you know somebody that does graphics? Let me go get that person and plug them in. And then at that point, you increase value and you didn't increase your workload. And as long as your price point matches to where you can actually put that person into your contracts or your agreements, then it makes it harder for them to say no. And it makes you look like a superstar, which is what we try to always do, is just try to be the better person at the same or better price point. And even if you're charging what somebody might consider to be an absorbent rate, if the value is just too great, that your consulting at that point is just super simple. I guess that kind of segues me into another thought.
Right.
This goes into deliverables. So the one thing that we like to do at Busy Boy Media is we like to, on paper, offer a basic idea. And when I say a basic idea, I mean you basically know just the end result of what you're going to get. You never know about all the extra stuff that we're going to do, and we never tell you, and we will never tell you. And it's the whole thing of that surprise. When you go to McDonald's and you get that Happy Meal, and then you open up the box and you see that there's a toy inside. Well, you knew that there was a toy, but you didn't know what toy you were going to get. That's what we try to do. We try to make sure that whenever we're working with anybody that we're doing any type of consulting graphics or any type of audience building or anything like that, that there's always a little something extra on the back. So, perfect example, we worked with a religious organization in order to help build their audience. We quoted them 5,000 people, 5,000 fans. At the end of the deliverable, we did 20,000. They did not expect that. And did they refer? Yes, they did. Did they come back? Absolutely. And they were just overjoyed, and it was no extra work on our part to do that. It's not so much as it is under delivering and under promise over deliver,
right?
As much as it is promise what they need, and if the capability is there to give them more, you do that, and they will always be happy. That extra bonus is something that is like, I paid X amount of dollars for something, and you gave me, 2 times, 5 times, 10 times, 20 times value. That it's the cream of the crop when it comes to consultation.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's true, and sometimes I don't realize that's what we do, and it's not really spoken on about. But hey, it is true. You give them more than what they actually expect,
yeah.
And once you do that, and you've proven yourself, you become the expert again. That guy that missed the gym with his hair slicked back or shade cut like me comes in the office, and they're like, "Nah, I already got a guy."
Right.
And that guy or girl might be you. So that is an awesome concept there. I like that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's an interesting take on that.
Yeah.
Wow. that threw me as a loop right there. I was like, wow, yeah. That's true. That's true.
Yeah. I think if I can give another nugget, let me see. Okay, here's a cool one. So another thing that I like to kind of think about when it comes to this consultation thing is also a memorable experience, and that's going beyond the deliverable. That's actually like when you're actually meeting with clients or stuff. Busy Boy primarily sets as a digital corporation. We typically do things online. I have very few people that we work with face to face in the same area. Just so everyone knows, the DC metropolitan area.
Since you're on that subject,
yeah.
Would you say it'd be best to work with people in your local area, or do you find is it best to to get people? Like my first client was here in Florida, actually St. Petersburg. I have not been there, and I've not met that guy face to face yet. But it's like we kicked it off, somehow in a group, and he trusts me. But back to that question: do you think it's best to have that local touch, or does it really matter?
That's a very good question. My personal experience dictates being as widely visible as possible. It's easier to be the king of little hubs than it is to be the king in one town. Like, the internet has made it really, really easy for us to do our business around the world. Like, my furthest client is in Australia. My second furthest is in Brazil. I'm on both sides of the coin for this, and this is what I'm thinking. Like, the whole thing of doing local is you have the ability to be very touchy when you're personal, which is a really good thing, because there's a lot of the older businesses, a lot of the older bricks and mortar that are old school. They love you to be in front of them across the table talking to them. They could see your face. They could feel your energy. It's more real. There's a lot of the newer generation, which is a lot of the people that I tend to work with these days, that are just like me. We're completely digital. This camera right here that we're on is our gateway.
Yep.
And as long as that camera's working and that mic's working and we have an internet connection, this is just as good as if we're face to face. There's pros and cons. Absolutely, there's pros and cons. So I can't say that there's any one or the other that's better. I think it's more along the lines of the way your business is set up. Cause and also actually I'll take that back. It's not just the way you're set up. It's also your deliverable. Because there's some things you probably just can't do digitally,
Right.
And it needs to have a personal touch. Like the person who's doing direct marketing, the person who's doing print. There's a big difference between what you see on a screen and what you see in printed paper. And sometimes you may need to take that printed paper to the person that you're working with. And if it's local, it makes it very, very simple, because not only do you get to build up that rapport and that personal relationship, but you also have something tangible that they can touch, feel, smell if they want to, and actually have that type of experience. The other side of the coin is, of course, you can simply use any of the carrier services and mail something overnight, but then that's an added cost. If everything that you do is a digital deliverable, then you literally can work anywhere as long as you have a computer and internet connection. So if I were to say if there was one that was better than the other, I would say it depends on your business model. If you can serve digitally, then it probably wouldn't make sense for you to do a lot of local in the traditional sense of getting in your car and going somewhere. But if a lot of your people that you can cultivate your relationships with are on a local level, like at a local chapter of a what are those
BNI meetings?
Thank
and all
you.
those?
Anything like that.
Right.
Then no, you rack up, because
Right.
I mean, there's some of you that were your price points, man. You only really need 10 clients.
Sure.
Now there's some that's on here. I'm going to make an assumption that maybe your price points haven't gotten to the upper parts just yet. And please, I encourage all of you, get your rates up.
That's a good subject. I'm glad you said that. Okay, good. Because Bill and I get a lot of questions. How do y'all justify your price points? Just recently, someone asked me, Lim, do you start your videos at 3,500 and up? And I'm like, yes, because what you don't understand is what he said, give them more value. I don't give them just one video. I give them about 5 or 10 videos, and I'm ranking maybe 5 or up.
There you go.
Some of you guys think you're just going to get out one video and that's it for $300 or $400. They're like, okay, what can you do? They've done that.
Right.
I give them more, you know. So that's the deal. That's why I can price it that high. And when I walk into these,
I wouldn't say high.
Well, most people say high, but you know, that's why I price it at that level, because really that is not high.
Right.
I know guys who charge more. So when you're at that level, if you know that you can do that, if you're going to give value, you can explain. Or sometimes you don't even have to explain.
That's true.
Because they're like, oh, wow. Okay, when can we start?
Yep.
You're like, really? Awesome.
One bit of advice that I received from my friend Kim MacArthur that totally changed my perspective on pricing, and it was the thing that, I'm going to come a little closer. That way both of us are in the camera. All right, so we're in frame. I'm more in frame than you. That's better. All right, cool. See, framing.
Yeah.
All right, so the one word of advice that Kim MacArthur gave me, and it forever changed my pricing schema. It made me feel like a champion when I heard it. Was you go in with the perspective of not saying this is how did he phrase it? Whenever you give price, you could either go in, this is the worst I could do or the best I could do.
I see.
And I'm paraphrasing it because I can't remember exactly how he phrased it. But the whole gist of it was, you could either say, it's either the best I could do or the least I could do. So most of us, whenever we go into something, we say, this is the least that I could do. And at that point, you've already justified your pricing as being low tier, and now you can only go lower. You can't go higher. Instead, he goes in the perspective of, this is the best I can do. And what he does is he gives everything. So, like, if he's like, okay, this was a really great example. For some of his courses and classwork and mentorship, it's like, and he goes like, this is the best that I can do. And he's like, if I were to stop working with everybody that I'm working with right now, I'll give you 100% total attention, and we only focus on your stuff, you're paying me $20K. Someone can then balk at that and be like, $20K, I'm not so sure about that. And then at that point, you can then step down. So that gives you the range gambit of whatever it is your top level and your low level. Instead of it starting at your low level, now you have to go lower. That advice totally revamped everything that I do. I always start off with saying this is the best that I could do if I were to drop all of my clients and blah, blah, blah. Not only is it good for positioning, it just helps you with your pricing structure. So the moment that your confidence in your pricing goes up, your level of exposure and expertise goes up, and you feel that you can justify price adjustments to match. Always thinking of the end line first, not the beginning, will give you a better range of scope whenever it comes to your negotiations and such. That bit of advice, I have to say, was like the thing in my consulting and such that made it so super simple for me to get my rates up when I first started. And yeah, I think that was just like that was love. That was heaven right there. But for all of you out there, I think that the whole thing with consultation, you have the true ability to build strong relationships to where people can actually call you friends,
right,
rather than calling you clients,
right.
And that's the big difference. If I were to summarize everything, that's the big thing. Like, I can call up the people that I serve and go out to lunch and dinner and stuff like that.
See, I've been telling you guys, I take my guys out to drinks. They love it, you know. And some people say, well, you shouldn't get too close to you. But you know what? If you make each other money,
yeah,
they want to do it as long as you can.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, something happens. Stuff happens, yeah. Let's say their business go down and you can't create anymore because something happened. Yeah, that's possible. But at the time, rock it. You know, do those things. And that is true. You can call your people and say, hey, you know, what y'all doing? You want to meet for lunch? Yeah, let's do this, you know, because they want to talk about more things. They might want to pick your brain, and that's what you're there for, you know?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're on vacation, we call it right now, and I wanted to bring someone on. I wanted to do this hangout, and I want you to answer this question. I don't know if it's a question real quick, but we got this while ago right there.
Okie dokie.
From our not local, but our lawyer listener, Rebecca.
All right. Can I read this out?
Yes, read it. Yeah.
Okay, Rebecca Happy. Hi, how you doing? All right. Well, what I've heard was that if they want you to go lower, then remove some of what is in the package rather than reduce the price. I'm gonna reread it and now I'll answer your question.
Okay.
Well, what I heard was that if they want you to go lower, then remove some of what is in your package rather than reduce your price. Okay, I'll clarify that.
Yeah.
Rebecca. So what I'm saying is you would package up your total offerings and go on with that, knowing that if pricing was an issue, you take away feature. So if your packaging was ranking, local, Google listing,
she does a lot of video marketing too.
Okay, video marketing. So let's say that those 4 things were your main package, and let's say your price point was $10K. You go into whomever you're making the offer with, and $10K doesn't seem attractive to them. Okay, well, have them dictate to you what they don't need.
Let's explain that today. Okay, Tim, $10K is kind of high for me.
Okay.
I don't think that our office can kick that budget, you know.
Okay, well, I guess at that point, let's actually talk about what you guys do. So right now you're getting out your widgets and you're bringing in as many people to buy your widgets and stuff. Would you say that you don't use a lot of um, local advertising? Do you think that that's something that you don't do?
We do local advertising. We spend it on print. We have a few commercials out there,
Right.
and we're spending almost like 10 grand right now
Yeah.
for advertising. So what are you doing right now that's going to really help me? I can't justify 10K just for this one package that you're bringing to me.
Okay. Well, since you're already doing that, it's no sense of you spending money twice. So let's go ahead and just take that line out. Um, Now, what we're doing here with the video ranking, because I don't know if are you doing ranking right now?
No.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So right now with your videos that you're currently doing, they're stagnated. They're not actually bringing you any type of extra traffic. It's not putting any positioning in your pocket or anything like that. So that would be a really big focus. We should definitely keep that.
But we actually paid some guys about $500-600 to come and make some professional videos. They're just sitting there.
Oh, then we definitely need to get you exposure on that. So let's keep that in the package. Also, we have the email. Do you currently do email marketing?
Not really. No.
Do you think that your customers will benefit from constant communications from
I
you?
don't think I want to bother my customers like that, you know?
Okay, then let's go ahead and take mine out too. So at this point right now, we have 2 features in our package, and that knocks you down to about 5K. Is that more manageable?
That seems more manageable.
That would pretty much be the way it would work. The whole thing is you're going with the ability of saying, if I were to give you everything that I possibly can do, this would be it, and this is the price. And at that point, when you're going down and stuff, if someone really wants something, you can always go back up. Like if in that role play that we just did, if Len was to come back to me and say, you know what, I could reconsider. Actually, we don't talk to them enough, and we do need to make sure that we're top of mind and all of that. Then you just go back up on your price. So we drop down to 5K. Let's say that was a $2,500 feature. Then you put that $2,500 back in, and now you're back to 75K. I'm sorry, 7,500.
Right.
And it gives you that flexibility without you having to worry about the need of a price justification. Just taking things away not only makes your job a lot easier, but it also is good for positioning and makes it simpler for your negotiations. They get exactly what they want completely a la carte, and you're not having to try to go from the bottom up. You're going top down.
Now, one thing that I know that I would have done, I would have taken notes. I would have wrote email. I would have wrote, because if you go back and listen to that conversation, I was saying that I have videos that were professionally done and not being used, okay?
Right.
Then I said I didn't want to bother my email list, but I would come back and actually ask them, why is there something in particular that has happened recently that you had a bad experience with your email list? Because I would like to challenge you on that and show you what I can do within a month, free of charge, just to show you.
That's a
then
good
come
approach.
back and then let them know the retention rate of the emails, and then he would reconsider. So that works my way back up to the top, you see?
That's a really good idea.
Right.
See, I'm glad you did that perspective, because that's where both of us kind of differ.
Right.
Like I love the whole idea of demonstration, because that's exactly what that is.
Right.
Where we're different, and again, this is where being in a creative business, we have a hard time with capacity. Like there's a lot that we can't outsource because our talents are not necessarily a commercial talent.
Right.
Doing things that deal with systems like your video ranking, your email marketing, your this, your that, those are things that if you were to get a computer to do it, it saves you resources. Creative work, we don't necessarily have that flexibility because a lot of it is coming from the brain and also whatever talent you could do with your hands. So that in that vein, it's harder for us to go and do demonstration like that because that demonstration is time versus dollars. But I'm glad that you did that because that actually tends more to your marketplace
Right.
with local. And if we were in the same business, I think I probably would do the same measure. Right.
Right, definitely, because I always want to hit those pointers. I mean, there were issues why they quit doing it, or they felt like they didn't want to jump on that anymore. It didn't work. Somebody in the past did not do it right, so they're not happy about it.
That makes a lot of sense.
So I want to make sure, I want to come back later on and say, hey, I heard you, talk about this. You didn't want to do it. I just want to know a little bit more about it.
Right.
There might be something that I can help you or serve you with. Just, that's what I do. That's what my business partner, Home Kennedy, he does that wonderful. He does that a lot. And we take our cell phones and we record the whole conversation of clients that's talking.
Right.
And we might miss something and come back and say, crap, dude, last week we missed that. We need to go back and offer that, and it totally works out that way.
That's good. Mind if I give a little bit of
Go ahead. Yeah, one more. Yeah.
This is along the lines of the whole thing with the cell phone. And this is kind of a value bonus thing that we do, and I think you guys can actually do it too. Try to record everything.
Yep.
If you can offer a recording of whatever it is that you do, like let's say you're in a meeting and you get out your phone, you put it on the tripod, yada, 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 record. If you can give them that recording back, you've increased your value without doing any extra work.
That's nice.
And you can just tack that on to whatever it is that you're doing. Like if you're doing a session, turn it into an experience. Make it something that they can learn from. So if their marketing practices aren't that great, and you can share some nuggets like the same way we're doing with this hangout, and you could record it, and then you just give it to them.
Right.
It's like, hey, even though we're going to do this for you, we want you to have it, because we know that it's going to be valued in case like there's a pinch or something you need to pass it on to an assistant or whatever. Here it is. It's a digital file. It's less than 100 megs, and it costs you nothing to do. That's value added. And I was just thinking about that. I was like, Dad, that would be something cool that you guys could do. Differentiation. Who else is doing that?
Yep. That is true. That is so true.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave you with this. We ran into a client that was doing some banner ads and all that, and I realized that they spent like this gazillion amount of money on banner ads. It was just the plain old Jane that was rotating. And I'm still in the works with that, by the way.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, look, this is what I could do versus what you're doing here. And I totally explained that to them. And I did a video recording of that. And once they got the recording and understood what I was talking about, they were like, holy crap, you're right. And I always say at the end, normally your professionals will show you the reason why this works, but I'm going to tell you why this works because they probably didn't tell you this. Because I'm always giving that extra. They're like, he's right. They didn't explain that. Now I totally understand.
Right.
But it's not their business to understand everything because they're trying to run a business, you know. But if you give them value and let them know what you're doing and why you're doing it, the purpose of why this banner should be flashing different colors or whatever, instead of just stuck there.
Right.
See what I'm saying? All day long. Then, they're like, you're right, we need to do something different. So, giving that extra, it's always important. But, wow, guys, this is it because we've been on here too long now. And I know this is, you see there's only a few views here, but this, I guarantee by the end of the week, we're going to get some response from this. They're like, dude, that was awesome. Who is this? Like always, on behalf of Cup of Joe, this is not Cup of Joe, but this is, I call it Labor Day Fun. Bill is probably still sleeping, and it's just me again. I'm glad to bring Timothy on. This is my brother from another mother. Guys, like I keep telling you, you need to reach out and find your people. He found us, by the way. If you don't find that group that can help you on those trying times and all that, you're going to go through the rough. You are. You're going to have shitty days. That's the first time I have a curse on here. But I'm just saying, you're going to have some.
This is blue.
Right. You're going to have some really bad days, but you have to have a session with your people at least, once a week, every 2 weeks, whatever it is, And if you don't have no one to call on, you're going to be lost. And I keep encouraging you guys to reach out with people inside the group and start masterminding with it. There's a lot of smart people in this group. And Bill and I always said, if you're the smartest one in the group, you need to find a different group. With that being said, anything else you want to add?
No.
All right.
This has been fun. This is very unexpected. But I appreciate the sounding board. Hopefully that this will help a lot of people. And yeah, but thank you for yelling.
You're welcome. I'm like, hey, Tim, come here for a second. All right, guys, we'll talk to you soon. Peace and chicken grease.
Happy Labor Day.
Biggles. We'll talk to you soon.